What about the entire experience inspires you? So many things. It's tough to narrow down. I suppose the most impactful one is just being able to do something that I love. I love being creative. I love the business that I'm in. It's absolutely who I was as a child. You try and always think, well, what did you do on a Sunday morning when you were a kid? What were you doing when you weren't doing it for anything? When you were just waking up trying to have fun. What were you doing? That's what you should probably be doing with your life. And luckily, I was, putting on shows and doing theater and, playing pretend. So I'm very lucky in the sense that my profession is also something that is deeply connected to the part of my life when my brain wasn't so noisy and I wasn't fueled by ego or an accomplishment or this kind of story that we're trying to tell ourselves. I was just doing it because it felt fun. So for me, it's inspiring, it's exciting, it's fulfilling to know that I get to go to work every day and get paid to do something that I consider to be extremely pure and real and beautiful. What terrifies you? This could be a long one. But that's tricky, because this is tough, because I think, 10 years ago I would have said, I don't want to be scared by anything, and I mean, the whole notion of being scared obviously means that I'm not fully present, because if I were fully present, then I wouldn't be scared, and I would end up getting lost in this spiral of disappointment because I do have fears, and that obviously means I haven't achieved what I want to achieve because my brain still operates from an egoic manner, and the brain noise would get the best of me. So I think I'm a little more confident now saying that I'm scared of stuff, and that's okay. I'm scared that I won't get where I think I want to get. I'm scared that I won't know true happiness. I'm scared that I won't know, true beauty or love or, but I'm okay having those fears, but I also know at the same time that those aren't real fears. I really, really believe that's the ego talking, and that's okay. Because my ego has been trained to speak for 34 years. I can't expect to all of a sudden delete it from the map today. All I got to do is when those fears come up, recognize that those are ego-based fears. I'm totally okay with those things popping up on the radar because they're gonna, and that's okay too. So I guess I have plenty of fears, but I don't think any of them are real. Is there anything in life you still believe you're striving to attain or wanting to become more aware of? Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm trying to, it's almost like with the first couple times I tried meditating very hard because my brain is so noisy, and maybe you get a second, 2, 3 seconds tops of sustained, still breathing and presence, and then very quickly, your brain asks, well, am I doing this? Am I thinking? I'm thinking thoughts right now, and you kind of lose it, but that's okay, and you go right back to trying to focus again, and the more you do it, hopefully the shorter intervals of brain noise will happen, and the longer periods of time where you are truly present begin to bloom a little bit. So I think the thing that I'm looking for in life is just longer periods of blooming presence. Blooming presence, like that. Just kind of, on a daily basis, my brain is still noisy. It's still, it still is fear-based and still egoically fueled, I suppose. But like I said, I'm working on trying to, shining a light on that ego when you see it arise, and then hopefully letting it melt away. And hopefully the older I get and the better I get practicing that technique, there'll be less and less and less brain noise and more moments of presence, where ultimately maybe I won't have to focus on it so much to achieve it. Hopefully that will kind of become the neutral state. It's tough to process because, we're talking about, we're trying to understand things with our minds, but the place I'm trying to get to is something that the mind can't comprehend. it wants to. It really wants to, but it can't. It's different languages. So so I guess this is a tricky question to answer, because what I'm saying I want is something I can't explain or process with the mind I'm using to give this interview. But I felt pieces of it, and I know it's good, and I'm chasing it, and it's worth it. So whatever that is, I guess I'm working to kind of have longer moments of that. Try and translate that. Is there any one piece of wisdom you've managed to integrate fully into your own life that you can share? Sure. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I did a little with Lindsay, actually. I went to India. We did this retreat a few years back, and one of the guys, our guru on the trip, is a man named Nand. Brilliant man. And he would, lecture every day, and there were just so many times where I had questions, and I would just raise my hand, and he kind of just kept telling me to shh, and it was so frustrating because I felt I had good questions, and if you just give me an answer, I'll be quiet. And he kept telling me to be quiet, and it really bothered me, and it made me doubt. But it was a very effective tool, because the truth is, the part of my brain that needed that answer, that wanted that answer, is the part of the brain that I don't need. It's kind of this, I needed it to get me to India. There's a great quote I read, you need the boat to cross the river, but once you cross the river, you don't need the boat. So I needed my, confusion and my ego and my struggle to wake me up to the fact that I don't need it. And I think the part of my brain that wanted all those answers in India was the part of my brain that he was telling me just to be quiet with. Just be quiet. Shh. Just be present. And if you really be quiet, like I said, it's not like the part of your brain that wants the questions gets an answer. It's that the part of your brain that wants the question just kind of dissipates. There's no more need for an answer, because there was really no need for a question. So for me, it's just, very noisy brain. Shh. That's not quitting. That's not giving up. That's not forfeiting. It's surrendering, which I like to. It's, when you use the word surrender, you remember that there was a fight going on. There was a fight in my brain, an unnecessary battle that I'm fighting with myself. So just kind of surrender a little bit, and you'll have a flash of something real nice, and then your brain will quickly try and understand it, and it'll never be able to, and it'll be this horrible cycle, but you'll feel it, and you'll want it again.